Hello guys, welcome to RS Code Labs. Today we are discussing about OOPS concepts. OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming System or Object Oriented Programming Software. Object Oriented Programming is used to convert real world scenarios into software. In Object Oriented Programming, we can write programs with the help of classes and objects, and it helps in organizing and structuring the code for reusability, modularity, and scalability. Now we will discuss about class. Class is nothing but it is a blueprint of an object because it consists of properties and behavior. It is mainly used for two purposes: used to execute a program, and other one is used to provide a blueprint of an object. Now we will discuss about object. Object is nothing but it is a real world entity. It has some properties and behavior. Here for example, human is an object. Now it has some properties and behavior. Properties are name, age, color, height. These are all properties. Speak, eat, walk, stand. These are all behaviors. Now we will discuss about methods in Java. In Java, a method is a block of code to perform a specific task. Methods helps in code reusability and modularity. Syntax of method: access modifier, return type, method name, and formal arguments. Now we will discuss each and every word of the syntax. Access modifier. In Java, access modifier is used to define accessibility or visibility of the method. Modifier. In Java, we have two types of modifiers. One is static and other one is non-static. Return type. Return type is mainly used to define which type of data the method is going to return. And last one is method name. Method name is similar to an identifier which is used to identification purpose. These two are formal arguments. This is method of the body. It consists of set of instructions to perform a specific task. There are two types of methods in Java. One is predefined method and other one is user defined method. Predefined methods: any method which is already defined or developed by the some people is known as predefined method. User defined method: any method which is defined by the programmer or user is known as user defined method. Again, user defined method has divided into two types. One is based on modifiers and other one is based on arguments or parameters. Coming to based on modifiers, again it has divided into two types. One is static method and other one is non-static method. Based on arguments or parameter, again it has divided into two types. One is method without parameters and other one is method with parameters. Method without parameters, which means a method which does not contain any type of parameter or argument, is known as method without parameter. Method with parameter means a method which consists of at least one argument is known as parameterized method or method with parameters. Method using a value, which means we can return a value from the called method once after executing all the instructions which is present inside called method. Syntax: return type, method name, we are passing the parameter. Here we can return a value by using return statement. Now we will discuss about method overloading. In Java, method overloading allows multiple methods to have the same name but different types of parameters in the same class. Compiler differentiates them based on the number of the parameters. Example for method overloading: based on the length of the arguments. So we are defining a class. Class name is addition, and we are defining a one method, public static int add, and we are passing two parameters. Public is an access modifier, static is a modifier, and int is the return type. Add is nothing but method name. Here it returns a plus b, which means it returns the sum of two numbers. Again we are defining method with three parameters, and also it returns a plus b plus c, which means it returns the sum of three numbers. Coming to main method, public static void main method, which means program execution starts here. Okay, so here we are calling the add method with two arguments, add 5 comma 10. These two values can be stored in one variable. Here we are printing sum of two numbers. So it returns output as 15. Again we are calling the method with three arguments. This can be stored in one variable. So here we are printing the sum of three numbers. So it returns the output as 30. Now we will discuss about constructors in Java. A constructor is a special non-static member which is used to create an object and initializing the properties of an object. Syntax of constructor and some of the key points of constructors. Here constructor name and class name should be same. There is no return type in constructor. Whenever we are creating an object, constructor will get executed, and if no constructor is defined, Java provides a default constructor. There are two types of constructors in Java. One is default constructor and other one is parameterized constructor. Default constructor. Default constructor is also known as compiler defined constructor. Compiler will add default constructor when the programmer fails to add any constructor to the program. A constructor without parameters. Java provides a default constructor if no constructor is defined. Example for default constructor. Here class name is student. Compiler will add a default constructor with no arguments. Whenever you are creating an object, constructor gets called automatically. Parameterized constructor. Parameterized constructor, which means a constructor which consists at least one formal argument, is known as parameterized constructor. The arguments which we declared in the constructor header is considered as local variables of the constructor. Okay. Example for parameterized constructor. Here we are defining a class name is student, and we are declaring a variables string name and int age. String name it stores the name of the student. Int age it stores the age of the student. Now we are creating a parameterized constructor, which means public student string n comma int a. Here name equals to n, which means assign the passed value n to the instance variable name, and age equals to a. Assign the passed value a to the instance variable age. Now we are create a method to display the student details. Coming to main method, inside main method we are creating an object of student and pass the values to it to the constructor and pass the values to the constructor. Now call the display method to print the student details. So it returns the output as name as John and age as 20.